Good evening, listeners. Nowadays, management professionals are in high demand in the service industry. Today, we have in our studios Dr. Bhupesh Bhagawati, Mr. Himadri Barman, and Mr. Pranab Kapoor to deliver a discussion on the topic management education and its importance in banking industry. Here is the discussion.
Management education has been becoming gradually popular among the new generation. This is so because it bears the potential of giving good employment in the present scenario. Indian financial system is a very big system and banks are the inseparable part of this system. Today, we will be discussing the potential of management education in creating employment in the banking sector in India. For this discussion, today we have with us Dr. Himadri Barman, Assistant Professor, Center for Management Studies, Dibrugarh University, Mr. Pranab Kapoor, Chief Manager, Central Bank of India, Thanasareli Branch, and myself, Dr. Bhupesh Bhagawati, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Commerce, DHSK Commerce College, Dibrugarh. Dr. Barman, initially I would like to ask you what management is exactly.
Thank you, Dr. Bhagawati. The word management, as I've already said, is many things to many people. If I have to define management in a very understandable manner, I'll just say that management is about doing all the activities which can help us utilize the available resources in the best possible manner. So, whenever we talk about management, we need to know what the resources that are available with us and how best we can utilize them. If we now see that management programs for a general person, we talk about the MBA degree, is very popular.
Right.
The simple fact is it pays you well and it also gives the opportunity to use your skills for doing a lot of things, whether it's an organization or even if it's your personal life. The banking sector, being in the service sector, it is servicing customers, and today customers are demanding
Obviously.
because of the competition you have. They need to serve their customers very well. Also, we are seeing that the industry as such is expanding rapidly. So
Obviously.
the resources
Yeah.
are also getting less. So you need to do more with less resources. So that is why the banking sector today needs management professionals for their offering the services as well as
Right.
meeting
Right.
consumer demands.
Mr. Kapoor, what are the general services offered by the bank nowadays? Because the services bank offers today are clearly different from those the banks used to offer earlier, say 10 or 15 years back or 30 years back. So, as of now, what are the services banks offer to the consumers?
I totally agree with your facts and points that were provided by Dr. Bhagwati. Today, banking industry as a whole has gone expanded voluptuously in each and every sector, each and every scenario. Earlier, banking was just getting your money deposited into your accounts, getting FDs, and giving loans. But today, banking is into insurance, asset creations, wealth management, NPM management, and whatnot. You can say a whole lot of things what we bankers do today in order to satisfy our customers. As already told by Dr. Burman, that customers today have become really very demanding today. They have become more desirous because the customers are getting their needs fulfilled by the banks as and when required. So the basic services of the banking industry that were provided earlier, they still exist. Apart from them, the bank has gone into vast directions like insurance, Atal Pension Yojanas, and whatnot scheme that are offered by the governments.
So, it means you need people with higher and better qualification
Yes,
to serve the
obviously.
consumers better. In this context, I would like to include one thing. Perhaps way back in 1986, the Consumers Protection Act was enacted, and that act has empowered the Indian consumers. And after the enactment of that act, the producer of goods and services have to be more cautious and careful to satisfy their consumers, is not it? And that has affected the banking industry as well. So banks need to be more cautious, and competition is another factor, I think.
Yes.
So we have been talking about Consumers Protection Act, and that act has empowered the Indian consumers, and ultimately that has led the service providers to be more cautious. Dr. Barman, I think in addition to that Consumer Protection Act, the competition is also a part that needs the banks to be more cautious in rendering services.
Exactly. Now, people has to provide the services at the right time. You just cannot keep them waiting because it's a service, or otherwise competitors will take over.
Yeah.
So if you do not have the right qualification or the right training, to be more precise, you do not have the soft skills necessary to render those services, there is a problem. People will move away, consumers will move away to the competitors. And since the law is also there, so legally also now the banks are bound to provide services in a manner that is well defined. Now you
Right.
go to any bank, there will be boards which will specify that, okay, this work has to be done within maybe say 10
The
minutes.
benchmarks for different
Yeah, the
services have
benchmarks
been
are there.
yeah.
So this has to be done. They just cannot say that, okay, we will not do it, because then they have to pay penalties and their reputation will take a hit. So a lot of other issues actually will crop up. Ultimately, the bank is going to suffer because maybe somewhere they do not have the right manpower, trained manpower, skilled manpower. So this is very important that the banks look at this fact. In fact, they are also already looking at it, and that is why now we see that increasingly management professionals are being recruited by the banks in a large numbers.
As today we are living in a highly competitive world,
Yeah.
each and every person would like to conquer his or her territory whenever needed. So, as each and every industry is going through that same phase, so there is no difference in the banking industry also. We in the banking industry are also facing the very same Herculean task of competition, because each there are 21 or 22 public sector banks along with the other private sector banks, and new payment banks are also coming by taking license from the RBIs. So the competition is increasing day by day. So if we are not having a competitive staff, a well trained staff, a management staff, so we'll not be able to stand in the competition with the other players in the industry. So today in the banking sector, we need highly qualified professional because of the increasing vastness of the jobs that our bank creating, along with the different tasks that we have to do in the day-to-day manner.
Right.
So if we'll not be able to looking after the customers, he'll shift to another bank. So in order to save the customer's time, our resources, which already are limited in the direction, so we have to hire the management graduates also.
So you need to have the best people for making the best use of the resources you have. The thing is that anticipation of the customers are increasing day by day. One thing. Second thing, competitors are turning stronger and stronger day by day. Keeping these two things in mind, every bank needs to be smarter than they used to be earlier. And the solution to such a situation is simply having smart people appointed. And we believe that through management education, we can teach the people to get the job in such a way so that they can maximize the satisfaction of the consumers. And that's why the employment opportunity of the management students in the banking sector has been increasing. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely, you're right.
Now we are talking about employment opportunity in the banking sector, but things are changing at a rapid speed. Again, we come back to the LPG factor because liberalization, privatization, and globalization has caused substantial changes to the basic structure of many of the socio-economic issues. So, what changes you see in the banking sector particularly after LPG? Dr. Barman?
When LPG happened in 1991, because of the initiative of Dr. Manmohan Singh, we saw many changes across all sectors, but specifically in the banking sector, we saw the entry of foreign banks as well as private banks. They brought in a lot of competition because prior to that, you had only the nationalized banks. So you can say that they had monopoly. So competition was not much there. Also, the scale of operations increased rapidly after that LPG happened. And with that, what happened was that new technologies were being used because the new players that were coming to the market, they just did not come to the market. Along with that, they brought the latest as far as technology is concerned in the banking sector. So now you needed a new set of trained manpower who could handle this competition, handle the technology, and also give very good service at the scale that was demanded by the customers. So automatically, management professionals found a scope to enter the banking sector in large numbers. In fact, today they are recruiting what are known as specialist officers. So a management graduate today need not do the usual jobs that are being done in a bank. They can do very specialized jobs which only they know. So the LPG brought in revolutionary changes in the banking sector, and management professionals had to play their part.
Thank you, Dr. Barman. Mr. Kapoor, what is your idea on LPG and the services of banks and job opportunity in the banks?
LPG that happened in India in the year 1991 has brought many significant changes in the banking industry. As Dr. Barman has already pointed out, earlier there were only nationalized players in the banking industry in our country. But after that, private players started their companies in India. So they have brought a huge number of competition in the industry today. Earlier, we used to do just normal day-to-day work which was done, but today people are aspiring more and more opportunities in the banking industry. So in order to satiate our customers, we need to hire the professionals. As the banking industry is increasing day by day, new opportunities are coming. So we require people who are well conversant about the finance and marketing along with the other jobs in the banking industry. I'll quote some of the jobs that are created recently, like asset management, wealth creation, NPA management, customer relation management, investment banking, insurance business, HRM, taxation planning, debt and equity services. So these are the new options that are available with the banks. So in order to satiate our customers, we require the professionals who have in-depth knowledge of these subjects. So what MBA colleges do during their tenure of 2 years, they teach the graduates about all these things. So each and every company would like to hire such professionals who have beforehand knowledge of these subjects. So they don't need to train the hired staff in order to start the working. They can start as and when required, and they can merge with the existing bankers and they can work wonders.
To add to what Mr. Kapoor said, in fact, now you have specialized management programs in banking. So
Right.
they will train management graduates specifically for the banking sector. So that is the stage we are in right now.
Like what banks have also initiated a process of having some specialized branches. Like we have SME focused branches, small and medium scale enterprises. They focus on the jobs of that part only. We have got forex specialized branches dealing with the foreign exchanges and
Right.
what people require, their currencies, etc., etc. So we have, like, this is just an example. We have got many specialized branches to look after the needs of the people.
Apart from all these, what we have been discussing so far, I think personally one thing that India is a very, very vast country, and the banking potential in the country is something beyond perhaps our imagination. So lots of untapped potential are there for the banking sector in India. Many of our rural areas are devoid of a branch even today. crores of our Indian people are yet to have a bank account opened. So in order to carry on the expansion program in the banks, we require to have result-oriented, efficient, smart, dedicated people. And management institutes can perhaps offer such people qualified with proper management education, which will enrich the banking industry and help in tapping the potential in the country, I think.
We require special people because in India, the banking is a very vast industry.
Yeah.
We have to serve to the masses, to the poor, to the middle class people, and to the top industrialist also. Because each and every person who comes whenever to the bank, he is having a particular set of expectation with us.
Obviously.
Be it the masses, be it the industrialist, be it the professionals.
Yeah.
So we bankers have to switch our roles very instantly. Like at one time we are serving to the masses or to the poor people who don't know what banking is. So we have to teach them. Like you should be doing like this, you should be writing like this. On the other hand, we have industrialists who hire more educated CAs. We have to deal with them also. So
Obviously,
for
right.
which we required specialist officers. If we'll not be having, we'll not be able to cater to the needs of the people.
Okay. Thank you, Kapoor. Dr. Barman, I have a question. There are lots of business school coming up in the country. Some are in the private sector, some are in the government sector. Do you think that all of those business schools are producing human resources of equal quality, or would you like to differentiate in between the private sector and public sector business schools?
This is an important question from the perspective of the students who wants to pursue a management program. You are rightly pointed that a lot of business schools are there and many are being opened further. And there will always be a difference in quality. So it will be difficult for me to exactly say which one is good or which one is not good, simply because the kind of environment they operate in,
Right.
the kind of money they charge for giving the management education, the kind of reputation they have as far as the industry is concerned. It is something like this, that an older the institute, it will have better reputation.
Right.
So newer business schools will have difficulties in having that kind of a reputation. Also, there are issues in things like faculty, good teachers, because management as such, the discipline has issues regarding qualified faculty, because till very recently many people would not come to teaching directly, they would rather go to industry.
Right.
So these are some of the issues, but the good thing is that now many top institutes exist in India which gives management programs. All of us know about the IIMs, but beyond the IIMs, there are many reputed private business schools also,
Right.
which are very good in terms of employability of their pass outs,
Yeah.
products, yes. So the students who want to pursue a management education, they need to do some homework and choose the school that is right for them in terms of expenses and other similar factors.
Yeah. Ultimately, perhaps I think campus recruitment is the factor that decides the popularity of the business schools.
Yes.
In certain cases, I
Yes,
see.
yes, that is always true. That is always true, because ultimately you are doing a specialized education so that you can get a job. So placement does matters, but as I said,
There are
if
other important matters as
issues
well. This is
also,
not
and
the only matter. Yeah.
they will play a role in improving that placement scenario. If you have good facilities,
Yeah.
good faculty, good reputation, automatically placement will go up. That's the point I'm trying to stress.
I would like to add a point to this. Like Dr. Berman said, there are n number of factors which decide which institute is good or which is bad. We should not use the word bad, which is comparatively lesser known
Right.
to the people. Foremost thing, matters is the placement. Whenever a aspirant goes to a college, he'll ask the first question: what are the percentage of placements in your college? Along with that, what is the fees? What are the faculty members? And one more important thing the people ask before getting admitted to a college is, please give me or provide me a list of the previous alumnus of your college.
Right.
What all
Obviously.
students have studied in your college and where are they these days? What all companies come for the placement? So these are the factors which decide which aspirant wants to go to which type of college.
Dr. Barman, you are a faculty in a management institute and you are experienced enough. Now my question is, do you think management education is gaining popularity among the new generation in this part of the country?
This is a good question. And what my experience is that yes, people are now interested towards a management education simply because you go to any industry, they would prefer a person who has a background in management. If you are good otherwise, but additionally you have studied management, you have an edge.
Right.
And now that is why even engineers will do an MBA apart from your general graduates. So this is something that we have observed over the last few years, that more people are interested to take a management qualification.
And management is no longer confined to commerce students alone.
Exactly. No longer.
Mr. Kapoor, you are from a reputed business school, passing out successfully with a gold medal. Now, I would like to know, do you find any difference between the business schools in India and business schools abroad?
In India, business schools are very good, but we have got some A-rated business schools that are confined basically to the West. Because in India, management studies have gained popularity in the past 5, 7, 10 years. But in the West or in the developed countries, they are having business school since long. So the quality, the management, the faculty they have is much more competitive than some business schools in India.
Thank you. We have discussed some points concerning management education and employability of management students in the banking sector. We are sure many things have been left to be discussed, but still, whatever we have discussed, we believe will throw some light on the issues and will be beneficial to our listeners. Thank you.
You have just heard a discussion on the topic management education and its importance in banking industry. Hope you have enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for our next program.